the invitation to this meeting. And well, it's my pleasure and honor to give this talk, exploring the universe with gravitational waves. And well, probably before starting this talk, I have to apologize. Well, since I know nothing about the nanoscience, nanotechnologies, therefore today I'm going to give a talk that is nothing to do with these scientific topics. So instead, I'm going to talk about the gravitational waves. This is the science I am now trying to explore. So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about this topic. Okay, so this is the outline of this talk. First, I want to briefly discuss my research history. Then I want to move on to the gravitational waves. After that, I want to discuss the KAGRA project. That is the project that we are working on at this moment. This is a project on the gravitational wave. And I will summarize this talk. Okay, my research history. First of all, I want to mention the location of our experiments. I have been working in a small city called Kamioka. The location of the city is shown here, and you can see that this location is might be in the mountain area, and in fact you are right. The site looks like this. So this photo was taken about almost 40 years ago. Anyway, since that time, I have been working in this area. And in fact, in this area, in one of the mountains, there are several scientific instruments installed. One is the Super Kamioka and the neutrino detector. And another one is the KAGRA interferometer. And today I'm going to talk about this KAGRA interferometer. That is the interferometer for the gravitational waves. And this is my research history. I started my research in 1981 as a graduate course student. My first experiment was the Kamioka experiment. Then in 1996, we started the Super Kamioka experiment. And at around 2008, I somewhat changed my research subject from neutrino research to gravitational waves. And since then, I have been working on the KAGRA project. And in fact, since 2010, we have been constructing the KAGRA interferometer. The construction essentially finished 2 years ago, but we are still in the early stage in the gravitational wave project. Okay, so now from now on, I'm going to discuss the gravitational waves. Well, first of all, I would like to remind you that gravitational waves were discovered about 5 years ago. In fact, in February 2016, there was a press conference at NSF USA. And at that conference, they announced the discovery of the gravitational wave. In the right panel, I show their data compared with the expected signal. And in fact, the observed signal was quite similar to the expected gravitational wave signal. So from this observation, they concluded that they observed gravitational waves. Well, the laser interferometer they used for the gravitational wave detection is shown here, are shown here. They have, in fact, two interferometers in United States. They are called LIGO. And in fact, because the expected effect of the gravitational wave is extremely small, therefore, they need very large interferometers to observe gravitational waves. In fact, the arm lengths of LIGO interferometers are 4 kilometers. So the interferometers are extremely large. Anyway, the discovery was about 5 years ago. And this is the summary of the gravitational wave detection so far. Well, so far, the LIGO project in the United States and Virgo project in Europe observed approximately 50 gravitational wave events. And here, you see two circles are matched and another blue circle is formed. So this means two black holes with particular mass matched and newly heavier black hole is formed. And in fact, in this figure, blue circles show black holes and the orange dots show the neutron stars. So clearly, LIGO and Virgo collaborations observed many black hole mergers. In addition, they observed two neutron star mergers. So, in the last 5 years or so, they have observed many events. And in fact, from these observations, they found a new mystery. They found that the mass of these black holes are rather heavy. So now people are discussing how were these heavy black holes created? So this is the new mystery. Now, in addition to the black hole mergers, LIGO and Virgo observed the merger of binary neutron stars. And well, in fact, in the observation in 2017, LIGO and Virgo collaborations precisely determined the location of the merger event. Then the optical telescopes followed, and these optical telescopes found the counterpart. And then various optical telescopes made the follow-up observations. And one of the data are shown in the right panel. And well, for example, in this figure, the optical magnitude is plotted as a function of the day from ultraviolet to infrared. And people found that these light curves are in good agreement with the expectations with the simulation of the merger of the binary neutron stars. And from these data, they claim that in these mergers, heavy metals such as gold were created. So people are really excited. In fact, this was the first very clear evidence of the heavy metals creation in the universe. Okay, so far I discussed the 5-year history of the gravitational wave observations. And here in this slide, I would like to summarize the potential science with this gravitational wave detection. First, we'd like to observe mergers of binary neutron stars. And with these observations, we'd like to understand the origin of the heavy metals in the universe. Also, we'd like to know what is the inside of neutron stars, or in other words, how large is a neutron star? The second scientific target is the merger of binary black holes. And I have already told you that the observed events showed that the mass of the black holes are rather heavy. Therefore, scientifically, we'd like to know how these black holes were created in the universe. And the third target is the supernova explosion. And we'd like to understand how the heavy stars finish their life. So these are the main targets for the present generation gravitational wave detectors. Anyway, we think there are many exciting science with the observation of gravitational waves. Therefore, in Japan, we have been constructing the KAGRA interferometer. In fact, KAGRA is an international collaboration. We have about 400 collaborators from 10 countries. And first of all, I'd like to show you the location of the KAGRA interferometer. I said I have been working in Kamioka in the mountain area. And in one of the mountains, there are many scientific instruments. And here you can see the KAGRA interferometer. KAGRA is a 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer laser interferometer. And KAGRA has, in fact, several key features. And first of all, it is located underground. Well, if the interferometer is located at the surface, then the seismic noise is a serious issue. Therefore, we decided to install the whole interferometer in underground. Then the seismic noises are reduced by approximately 2 orders of magnitude. Furthermore, in KAGRA, we are going to cool down the main mirrors to approximately, well, we are going to cool down the mirrors to approximately 20 Kelvin. With this cryogenic technology, we'd like to reduce the thermal noise. In fact, these interferometers are so sensitive to various noises. Therefore, this thermal noise is one of the very serious issues. Therefore, we decided to cool down the mirrors. Anyway, this project was approved by the Japanese government in 2010. And since then, we have been constructing the interferometer. Here, I show 2 arms of the KAGRA interferometer. So you can see vacuum tubes with 3-kilometer length. And the connection and the leak test of the 3-kilometer by 3-kilometer beam tubes have been finished in March 2015. Then people start to install the mirrors and other things into the interferometer. And as I said, we use cryogenic mirrors. And in the left photo, I show one of the cryogenic mirrors. It is 22 centimeter in diameter and 15 centimeter in thickness. It is 23 kilogram. So this mirror is going to be installed in the KAGRA interferometer. And in the right panel, I show a photo of the KAGRA collaboration. This photo was taken in November 2017 when we installed the first cryogenic mirror. But I'd like to mention that this many people have to work together to install just one mirror. So this is really a teamwork. Anyway, we have installed 4 cryogenic mirrors in November 2018. And this photo shows the central area. This photo was taken 1 year ago. And in the middle, you see a vacuum tank. And in fact, in this vacuum tank, we have a beam splitter. And with this beam splitter, the laser beam is split into 2 arms. And well, in the spring of 2019, we finished the installation. And since then, we have been working for the control and operation of the interferometer. And in fact, in the operation phase, we have to be outside of the underground site because any human activity at the site can cause a problem, noise to the gravitational wave. So we control the laser interferometer from the building outside of the underground site. And this figure shows the sensitivity improvement history. KAGRA has finished the installation in the spring of 2019. Then in August 2019, we were able to operate the interferometer for the first time. And since then, we try to improve the sensitivity. By the way, in this graph, if the graph goes lower, that means you get higher sensitivity, lower noise. So since August 2019, we have been working to improve the sensitivity. And you can see in March 2020, we have improved the sensitivity by approximately 4 orders of magnitude at around several hundred hertz frequency. So after a very intense commissioning period, we started the operation of KAGRA in the spring of 2020. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we had to stop the operation in 2 weeks. And now we are still stopping the interferometer. And from now on, I'd like to discuss the future of the gravitational waves. The scientific output will be maximized by the global network. because with any single interferometer result, we cannot say anything about the direction of the gravitational wave signal. So we have to globally collaborate in order to get the information on the signal arrival direction. And this is the map of the gravitational wave detectors. In United States, there are 2 LIGO interferometers. In Europe, Virgo interferometer. And in Japan, we have KAGRA. And in India, now there is LIGO India project. So we'd like to work together. And the next observation, that is called observation 4 or 04, will start in 2022. And KAGRA will join the observation with reasonably good sensitivity. And this is the timeline of the global observation. As I said, we'd like to start the observation 4 in 2022. Unfortunately, again, due to COVID-19, we are not sure when we can start the observation 4. Officially, we only say that we will not start before June 2022. Anyway, we are looking forward to start the next observation run. And also I want to mention that LIGO India will join around 2026. I said that global collaboration is very important. And in fact, in this slide, I'd like to show you how important the global observation is. For example, if we have LIGO and if we have only LIGO and Virgo interferometers, then for some gravitational wave events, the sky localization is rather poor. But if we have KAGRA in addition to LIGO and Virgo, then we expect a significant improvement in the sky localization. And this is extremely important for the optical telescopes because typically the optical telescopes have rather small field of view. Therefore, precise sky localization by global observation of gravitational waves is very important. And finally, we'd like to mention that we have to collaborate with other tools. So far, I have discussed only gravitational waves. But suppose a supernova explodes at the center of the Milky Way, then certainly gravitational waves should be observed. And at the same time, we expect a significant number of neutrino events. So clearly, gravitational waves and neutrinos are very important for truly understanding the mechanism of the supernova explosion. So we'd like to collaborate with other detections. Finally, I'd like to briefly mention the future of the gravitational waves. In fact, colleagues in United States and Europe are planning the next generation of gravitational wave interferometers. These interferometers will have extremely high sensitivities. And here I show the image of the next generation interferometers. In Europe, people are thinking about it will be a 10-kilometer baseline length interferometer. And in Europe, people are thinking about the Cosmic Explorer. It will be extremely long baseline interferometer. It will have 40 kilometers. Anyway, with these next generation interferometers, we expect really a significantly high sensitivity. In the right side, I plot the sensitivity as a function of the black hole mass. And here in this plot, the vertical axis is the redshift. Of course, if the interferometer is more sensitive, then these interferometers can reach higher redshift. And well, people in general believe that the first generation stars were formed around redshift 10. Therefore, if these black holes were formed by the collapse of the stars, then we only expect gravitational wave signals below redshift 10. However, these interferometers are sensitive up to about redshift 100. And if these interferometers observe some signal of the black hole mergers, that will mean that these black holes were formed not by the collapse of the stars, but some other ways. So that will be a major discovery. Well, of course, we do not know if they observe any signal above redshift 10, but anyway, this will be really an exciting possibility. So we think that the gravitational wave astronomy will have really a bright future. Okay, let me summarize. Gravitational wave astronomy was born about 5 years ago. The early results from LIGO in the United States and Virgo in Europe have been extremely exciting. KAGRA is a unique gravitational wave detector. It is the first large-scale laser interferometer with cryogenic mirrors and installed in deep underground. KAGRA would like to begin the operation in 2022 and contribute to the gravitational wave astronomy. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Kajita. It was really a wonderful talk on neutrinos. So, few questions from our participants. Is the construction of an interferometer location specific, like a telescope? Is the construction of an interferometer location specific, like a telescope?
No. Well, certainly, it is nice to have an interferometer far from the other interferometers, because using the time of flight of the signal, we can estimate the signal arrival direction. But other than that, we do not care much about the location.
Okay. There's one more question from Mr. Satish. Gravitational waves are experimentally detected, but graviton is not detected. Are gravitons, does it really exist, or is it hypothetical?
Well, okay, we do not know. And in fact, I think no one has any idea to observe gravitons. So we have no idea.
Yeah. And there's one more question. Why quantum mechanics cannot explain gravity?
Well, certainly quantum mechanics and gravity has some difficulties to merge, but people are working hard. So maybe in the future, people have the quantum mechanical gravity theory, I hope.
Thank you. There's a question from Mr. Shankati Bose. Do objects absorb or scatter gravitational waves like electromagnetic waves?
Say again?
Yeah. Do objects absorb or scatter gravitational waves? No, just like electromagnetic waves.
Well, okay. Gravitational wave essentially pass through everything, no scattering.
Okay. Yeah, there's another question from Mr. Akshay Achari. How do scientists know the position of the origin of gravitational waves? How do scientists know the position of origin of the waves?
Yeah, thank you. Well, in fact, I said in LIGO, there are 2 interferometers in United States, and in Virgo, Virgo is located in Europe. So there are 3 interferometers. Then each interferometer can observe the signal, and each interferometer observes the signal with a slightly different timing, because if the interferometer is located near to the source, then this interferometer observes the signal first, then the next interferometer, and the third interferometer. So this way, the signal arrival time is a very important information to know the precise location of the signal. You are muted.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. Do all black holes have a singularity?
We believe so.
Okay. Yeah, there's a question from Vadim. What is the main purpose of observation of gravity waves? What's the use of detecting gravitational waves?
Well, certainly, the uniqueness of the gravitational wave is the observation of the compact, heavy objects, such as neutron stars and black holes. So we'd like to understand these compact, heavy objects. And in particular, neutron stars are very important, very interesting, because the mergers of the neutron stars can produce heavy metals. So we'd like to understand, for example, the origin of the heavy metals in the universe.
Thank you, Dr. Kajita. One last question. Is atomic interferometry, can it replace laser interferometers for detecting gravitational waves?
Well, thank you for this question. Well, I don't know the details of the atomic interferometers, and I hear a lot of discussions on atomic interferometers, but, well, okay, I don't know, but people in general trying to get higher sensitivity with the present technology, that is the usual laser interferometers. And in order to get higher sensitivity, people typically want to have larger interferometers.
Thank you. Last question. Does gravitational waves exist everywhere like electromagnetic waves?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, one last question apart from scientific. What would be a simple advice for young researchers like us who are dreaming about Nobel Prize?
Thank you. Well, certainly, we should not forget about the curiosity. Curiosity should be the key for the discovery of something new.
Thank you very much. So there are a lot of questions. I will close the session. So on behalf of the Center for Nanotechnology Research, Vellore Institute of Technology, India, once again, thank you, Dr. Ajita, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. Thank you very much for your inspiring talk. Thank you, Doctor. Have a
Thank
nice
you
day.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you.